Government shutdown back here at home was indeed temporarily averted over the weekend, but that last-minute deal included no new money for Ukraine. President Biden was asked about it, was quick to reassure that the U.S. will continue helping Kyiv.
Mr. President, what are your words to U.S. allies, and in particular Zelensky, on continued funding for Ukraine? How can you reassure them?
I can reassure them, look at me, we're going to get it done. I can't believe those who have voted for supporting Ukraine, overwhelming majority in the House and Senate, Democrat and Republican, will, for pure political reasons, let more people die needlessly in Ukraine.
Okay, here with more Republican Congressman Burgess Owens from the state of Utah. Congressman, thank you for coming on. We've talked about this back and forth in the Congress in a number of different ways, but I do want to drill down specifically on this issue of funding for Ukraine because it seems to be so important as a new deadline will quickly approach. First of all, for you, where do you stand on continuing to fund the war in Ukraine?
I voted against this, and I did so until we can find out from the president what the game is. We have a president that is clueless about everything else. He just talked about people dying in Ukraine. He has not spoken about the amount of people coming in and about Americans that are dying because of his policies at the border. So a couple things. We need to first of all know that Congress has oversight. The American people need to trust that the money that we're putting into Ukraine is going to the right places, the right reasons, and there's an end game. The other thing is, if he wants to have us believe that he cares about people anywhere and everywhere, let's care about Americans. Every policy that this president has done has been anti-American. It's bringing more pain, more misery, and there's not one place that he's actually given us an idea that we can finally come out of this mess. So as of now, until we can get some answers, I'm against continuing funding Ukraine.
Well, some of this gets into the back and forth we talked about earlier, Matt Gaetz versus Kevin McCarthy infighting in the Republican caucus, where people like Gaetz seem to think that we should look at all of these individual issues. For example, the border is one issue, Ukraine is another issue, where some other Republicans do seem to be putting them together. Are you putting them together, saying you need, if one, in other words, if we fund the border security, then we fund Ukraine?
I think we should be looking at it separately because they're so separate issues, and we have different districts across our country where Americans are asking questions. We were all at somewhere the same place over a year ago, but this president has proven that he's really so clueless about so many things.
Right, but I'm trying to get at why you would be saying you're against the Ukraine funding until the border security issues taken care of if you think they should be separated. That to me, that sounds like they're together, but can you explain?
I think that these are two separate issues. There's the issue of the border and there's the issue of Ukraine, and they both should be given to us so we can debate and figure out what's going on. And at the end of the day, it comes down to this. There's questions that American people have about where the money's going and what's being done and what is the end game in Ukraine. That's a separate conversation, as opposed to the fact it's obvious we're being invaded right now at the southern border. So
your issues about Ukraine are about whether or not the money is being spent wisely, and you want what? You want more explanation of that. It has nothing to do with the border. That's your issue.
No, exactly. No,
yeah.
I'm separating the two. I think they're two separate issues, and I think they're both worth having a conversation about.
Okay, fair enough. And we will continue to have that conversation. Good to have you on today, Congressman Burgess Owens, Republican out of Utah.